Most of us were taught, without anyone saying it directly, that luxury begins somewhere above where we are, that it's a price point we haven't yet reached, a hotel category, a brand, a specific lifestyle, something that arrives when a certain amount of money is made. So we wait for it. Or we chase it on the occasions where we can afford to. Or we quietly decide it's simply not for us. But here's what I've come to understand after years of building a life that feels genuinely elevated, not just occasionally, but consistently. Luxury was never about price. It was always about intention, the decision to make something more beautiful than it strictly needs to be, more considered, more personal, the difference between getting through a moment and actually managing it. And that decision is available at every budget. Today, I want to show you what that looks like through 3 areas of life where the gap between ordinary and genuinely luxurious has far less to do with money than we think. Welcome back to Gracefully Lori. I'm Lori. If you're new here, this channel is for women who want to live authentically, express themselves with intention, and move through the world with quiet, modern grace. Today's video explores one of the ideas closest to this channel's philosophy, that luxury, at its most meaningful, is not about what you spend. It's about what you choose. I'm going to walk you through 3 areas: self-care, fashion, and home, and show you what luxury looks like at 3 distinct levels, from free to low cost, to mid-range, and then high-end. Not because you need to spend more, but because I want you to see that wherever you are financially, there's a version of this that belongs to you. There's a particular kind of evening most women never allow themselves, not because they can't afford it, but because they haven't decided it's worth the effort for an ordinary Tuesday. The evening and night routine stays the same. The shower is efficient. And by the time they get into bed, they move through the entire evening without a single moment that felt genuinely restorative. A free version of luxury self-care is simply the decision to do that differently. You dim the lights. You light a candle. You put on music you love. You run a bath with Epsom salts or bubbles you already have. And you use a rolled towel as a pillow. You take your time with your skincare rather than rushing through it. You put on a clean robe and get into bed with freshly changed sheets. Nothing about that costs money. Instead, it costs attention and intention. The total investment is a decision to turn an ordinary evening into something restorative. And the feeling that follows, that calm, cared for feeling of having genuinely tended to yourself, is indistinguishable from what a much more expensive evening produces. At the mid-range level, luxury and self-care may mean using professional expertise. A facial, a deep tissue massage, an infrared sauna session. The luxury here is in completely checking out. Someone else is doing the work, and your only job is to receive it. If cost is a consideration, esthetician schools offer treatments from students that typically are 50 to 70% less than a standard appointment. The quality is generally good, and the experience is genuinely restorative. Or this may mean something like a manicure and pedicure, not just for the result, but for the ritual of having someone care for you with skill and attention. The high-end level, luxury is total immersion. A full spa day with multiple treatments of your choice in sequence. Perhaps a massage, facial, time in a private thermal suite, or a destination wellness retreat where every detail, the food, the schedule, the environment, has been designed around restoration. The luxury here isn't only the treatments, it's the time away from all obligations. The seamless, uninterrupted quality of an experience designed entirely around your well-being. At every level, the goal is identical: to feel restored and genuinely cared for. The only thing that changes is the scale. Fashion is one of the areas where price and value get confused most constantly. For a long time, mainstream luxury and clothing was signaled primarily through logos, the visible marker that told the room something about what you'd spent. But that relationship between luxury and visibility has been shifting in a way I find genuinely interesting. Women who understand quality have largely moved away from logos towards craftsmanship, or they've always pursued craftsmanship and now others are catching up. The luxury they're interested in is tactile, personal, and largely invisible to anyone who doesn't know what to look for. The coat feels extraordinary. The bag is built to last decades. The woman wearing them knows exactly what she has, and that knowledge is its own quiet satisfaction. That shift makes luxury in clothing more accessible at every level than it's ever been. At the free and low cost level, luxury begins with what you already own: polishing your shoes, repairing a bag, having a coat tailored for a better fit or an elevated appearance, like upgrading the hardware. These are small acts of care that elevate what's already in your possession, and the result is often more impactful than buying something new. Thrift stores are also a great option. A well-made vintage wool coat will always feel more luxurious than a new, cheaply made synthetic one. The principles to look for remain constant regardless of price: a clean silhouette, a structured shoulder, good fabric. A simple, well-styled coat in a neutral color will always read as polished. At the mid-range level, you begin investing in materials and construction that you can genuinely feel. A coat with a meaningful percentage of wool rather than a synthetic blend, as an example. You always want tailoring that is cleaner and more precise. Hardware, zippers, buttons that feel substantial rather than disposable. I recently bought a wool cashmere blend coat that normally retails at $700. I purchased it with a 50% spring discount. If you're willing to shop off season, you can get high quality items at a significantly reduced price. Similarly, there are several online resellers of pre-loved luxury bags that can make getting a high quality bag much more affordable. If you want to invest in a new bag at this level, you'll likely want to look for a full grain leather or a vegan leather bag with good craftsmanship. Something like Coach, which most women recognize immediately as a standard of mid-range quality and longevity, built to last years rather than a single season. At the high-end level, you're paying for exceptional materials and artistry. A coat that is cashmere or a specific grade of wool that drapes in a way you can feel immediately, or a luxurious blend of both, typically with hand-finished details. Even within this category, there are ranges, and some of the best options are also the least visible. You can find great what we call affordable or accessible luxury coats with brands like Sandro or Reiss. At the higher end of the luxury scale are items like the Max Mara Icon coat, 90% virgin wool, 10% cashmere with a Cupro lining. The name suits the coat, as it certainly is an iconic and very well-known high-quality coat. For handbags, a bag in full grain leather with artisan construction and a timeless design can also be found along in a range of price points. For example, at a lower price point, I own a Savette trapeze pochette and receive constant compliments from women who recognize great quality. That's the point. You don't need to spend the most money or carry the most recognized name to access genuine quality. When it comes to handbags, at higher price points, most women default to the most recognizable names: Hermes, Chanel, etc. But Delvaux, the oldest fine leather goods house in the world, offers craftsmanship that is genuinely comparable to, or some consider greater than, Hermes, with handcrafted bags made in small batches. These bags are often preferred by the truly affluent. Real luxury in clothing and accessories has never been about the logo. It's always been about the craftsmanship, the materials, and the details, and these can be found at every level if you know what you're looking for. The home is where most women have the greatest opportunity for everyday luxury and the least awareness of that, because the free version of a luxurious home isn't a renovation. It isn't new furniture. It isn't even particularly time-consuming. It's atmosphere. A clean, decluttered, organized space is the foundation of everything that follows. The feeling of walking into a tidy room with soft lighting and pleasant scent is genuinely calming in a way that no amount of beautiful furniture can replicate if the space underneath it is cluttered. Fresh flowers, even an inexpensive grocery store bouquet, change the entire quality of a room. So does making your bed every morning. So does lighting a candle before you sit down for the evening. Some of the most impactful, low-cost changes in home are purely functional. A curved shower rod that makes a standard shower feel significantly more spacious. A new shower head. Changing light bulbs to a warmer temperature that makes every room feel more inviting. Under-counter lighting in the kitchen. These are all small investments, sometimes under $20, that change how a space feels to be in every single day. At the mid-range level, luxury at home is about upgrading the things you touch most often. Bedding is the clearest example, and it's worth understanding that thread count is largely a marketing metric. What actually determines how bedding feels is the fiber. Long staple cotton, linen, bamboo. These materials feel genuinely different from standard alternatives, and the difference is immediately apparent. The same principle applies to towels. A set of plush, absorbent Egyptian cotton towels that make you feel genuinely pampered every time you step out of the shower is a small investment with a daily routine. Other mid-range upgrades worth considering: new cabinet hardware, a quality speaker for music, having rugs professionally cleaned, a smart thermostat. Each one is a tangible upgrade that elevates a home to feel more considered and more refined. At the high-end level, luxury at home is about premium materials and custom design. Custom-built furniture, perhaps professional interior design. Home features that exist entirely for your comfort. A steam shower, a reading room, a garden designed for genuine use rather than appearance. The goal at this level is for a home perfectly tailored to how you actually live, not how a showroom suggests you might. But the goal at every level is exactly the same: a space that feels like a sanctuary, calm, ordered, beautiful, and genuinely yours. Luxury was never meant to be a destination. It was always meant to be a practice, something woven into daily life at whatever scale is available to you right now. The home spa on a Tuesday evening, the well-made coat bought off season at half price, the curved shower rod that costs $18 and changes how your bathroom feels every single morning. These are not lesser versions of luxury. They are luxury chosen deliberately at the level that belongs to you today. And as that level changes, the practice simply expands. More access, more options. The same essential quality of intention underneath. That's what luxury actually means at every budget. Not aspiring to something you don't yet have. Claiming what's already available to you fully, intentionally, right now. So I'd love to know, what's one way you've created genuine luxury in your life without spending much? Or one luxury you aspire to? Please share with me in the comments. And if this resonated with you, please like the video and consider subscribing. It helps other women find content that might be meaningful for them too. Until next time, my graceful friends.